All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Doing a twofer today. I am also live on Rockfin, ROKFIN.com right now. If you'd like to watch me there, we have one viewer, and we'll probably have a few more. But thanks for everybody that's watching on Rockfin. I appreciate you. Muzza, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. T-Star Galaxy, what's up? So that was really weird. I know everybody was on that other video. That's been happening like every day. If I leave it's funny because my streaming app doesn't work at all while I'm doing videos, right? It wants to just totally fail while I'm doing the videos. But then if I leave my app on, it will just automatically start this stream on YouTube. It's crazy. Like, I'm supposed to press a button that says start the stream. Like, why it's like automatically starting a stream for me without my controls is not just bizarre, it's frightening. So I have to like stay on it and like remember to close my streaming app. It's just really weird. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I've been wanting to cover a couple of different things for a few days, but I've been delayed and just I have some other. I'm working on a music project, so I'm releasing some music tomorrow. So I've been working on a music project, and I haven't had any time to do any extra videos. Yes, that's right. What was that? Hold on one second. Somebody just said something very appropriate. Over the target, right? Muzza says over the target, right? So, yeah. So let's cover some news. I just want to cover some things outside of climate change. For those that just want to hear about climate change, this is not a climate change video, and so please, dispense with the snark or the weirdness. If you don't like what I'm talking about, then you can just leave. The door to leave is open to you. And snark will be met with extreme hostility because I don't play that. Outdoor dining at restaurants will be suspended in LA County. So what we've been seeing, I want to actually go back. Obviously, there's a huge coronavirus spike of cases in Los Angeles have spiked by like 90%, 92%, I think I saw. And they are closing down restaurants again, all of them. And that's as of Wednesday, November 25th, and will be in place for a minimum of 3 weeks. Some people might have said we could have seen this coming. Other people are somewhat skeptical about all of this. Some other people are mad that Donald Trump didn't nip this in the bud in the first place. I think all of those thoughts have validity. And think what you want. Here's a quick nugget of climate change funniness, though, from Victoria Bruce. NPR just called fracking the shale revolution. She said, Jesus fucking Christ. NPR has just become neoliberal propaganda radio. Yes. The shale revolution. That's funny. Yeah, so we're seeing, I had a, hold on one second. Coronavirus's cases are up, as we see here, from September 22nd. This is in the U.S. There's quite a few cases all around the country. And we can zoom out on this map. I don't even know if you guys can see this or not. I apologize if you can't. I don't know how to make this bigger, but I can show you up here, obviously United States, total cases between November 8th and the 21st, 2 million, over 2 million cases between November 8th and the 21st. Seeing a large spike going on in Europe as well. The cases kind of worldwide here. I know that's really small. Sorry, guys. Russia has many cases. India also seeing more cases. So people are all very concerned about this. But I wanted to show you this. This is frightening. Hopefully you guys can see this. This is absolutely terrifying. Have you guys been, so you guys understand, I have been talking about, hold on one second. I've been talking about a little bit about Whitney Webb and what she's been talking about with Operation Warp Speed and the weirdness that's going on with that. And this is a very frightening video from a general who is talking about the administering of the COVID vaccine, which, magically appeared 8 months after, or is it 8 months? We'll be generous and say 9 months after the virus appeared. This vaccine magically appears 9 months later, 90% effectiveness. And anybody who knows anything, anybody who's in the medical field knows, absolutely understands that it takes much longer than that to develop and test a vaccine. And again, some people might say, well, they were working on a vaccine before this. And then you might say, why? All of these are very valid questions. If you want to go follow them to their conclusions, that might be good too. Anyways, let's listen to this. And I don't know if you've seen this, but it's just weird.
What we're doing to make sure that we are ready at this level after working these details for the last 6 months, as I've told the team, 2 things we must have. One, upon emergency use authorization, all of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it. He said must. He said the word must. He didn't say will or can. We want to make sure it's available. Then he kind of goes, I'm going to play more, but he goes into the whole, it's going to be equitable and everybody's going to get their vaccine. It's going to, we want to make sure nobody's left out. But right here he says must. He uses the word must.
Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that happens. The second thing that we want to do is make sure that the cadence of vaccine delivery following the first push is routine, so that's
the cadence of what does that even mean? That means, they want to make sure the timing is right. How are they going to enforce that timing? I remember about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I read you something about the New York State bar, or New York State actually passing a mandatory recommendation from the state bar that that the vaccine be mandatory, right? This is not. I can tell you right now. This is. They're going to line it up so that there is not going to be a choice in receiving this vaccine. Even if you wanted to choose, even if I can tell you right now, almost everybody I know is like, F this vaccine. I don't want any part of it. I'm shaking in my boots. I don't want. There's no way you're going to get close to me with this vaccine. I know so many people who have that sentiment. So if millions of people are like, nope, not going to do it. They're going to make sure that there's no voluntary part of this vaccine administration. administering, or whatever you'd like to say.
States/jurisdictions can plan for it and account and develop execution of the administration in a routine method so that the population is well informed. What we're doing to make sure that...
Anyways, I just wanted to show you that. That's somewhat frightening. The person that tweeted this said, knock knock, who's there? It's a truck full of soldiers here to elevate a few stock prices. Yeah. I mean, that's a windfall right there. Everybody must get a vaccine, right? Then, if you're making that vaccine, some dollars. And a good tweet underneath this: those who thought the U.S. military, which has always worked for the wealthy ruling class, would rescue us from our bad government, or that a new president, who all worked for the wealthy ruling class, would rescue us from our bad government, were always hoping for the impossible. Oh, well, what I didn't know, I'm going to go on. The CDC is run by the USPHS Commission Corps, a uniformed branch of the U.S. military. Many executives of the big pharma vaccine producers are military, Commission Corps, CIA, or intelligence agency veterans. The U.S. COVID-19 vaccine response is essentially a military... Well, yeah, it's called Operation Warp Speed. It has a name. And everybody knows about it. And all the contracts for Operation Warp Speed were private. And obviously, this made people very, very frightened. Like, why is this, the information about who's got these contracts or who's working with Operation Warp Speed? People were concerned, rightly concerned about this. The funny thing is last week I saw something trending on Twitter, Pfizer saying like, "Oh no, we didn't get any contract from this. We're just totally doing this on our own." No contract at all from the U.S. military. We're not part of Operation Warp Speed. And, a lot of people just enjoy their CIA propaganda straight up, no chaser. They enjoy the hell out of it. They read it and they go, "Yes, that sounds correct to me." Totally. Because, they're the good guys. They're really good people. Let me see. Where are we going? Oh, so here we go. Back to Pfizer. Pfizer and BioNTech file for emergency use of COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S. So they're submitting a request to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for emergency use authorization of the vaccine it developed with BioNTech. The news comes days after the pharmaceutical company released positive initial findings from their phase 3 trials. So they're gonna file for it. They're gonna give the military this emergency use authorization. They're gonna say, "We've got it all. We're all authorized. It's emergency. It's emergency. Emergency. Emergency." The flashing red light will be blinking on your television sets and on your phones. Report to your nearest blobbity blue command tent, command post, etc. Moving on to this. From Zero Hedge, White House coronavirus advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci said during an interview this week with the New York Times that convincing skeptics to take a COVID vaccine is a matter of paramount importance to safeguard the public health. Paramount importance. So paramount that the military is going to administer the vaccine. Are you a little concerned yet? Many of these people actually don't think that this is a problem, Dr. Fauci said during a conversation with the Hastings Center. He also pointed out that many people simply don't accept the fact that the vaccine was developed so quickly. Because that would be that would be a common sense thing to think, right? Many people don't accept the vaccine was developed so quickly. those are people who might even be in the medical field, who might be like, yeah, I know how long it takes to get a vaccine that doesn't, kill people or hurt people, and it's not 9 months. So if you're skeptical of this, or if you have questions, then this is fake. Then you are a conspiracy theorist. You are, a fake newser or a truther, an alt-righter, or some, whatever you are. After slamming all the quote-unquote fake news surrounding the virus and the vaccine, Dr. Fauci complained that he was stunned by people's reluctance to believe in the virus. Well, maybe you can believe in the virus but not believe in the vaccine. I mean, that's also possible. You can believe that the virus is real or a threat, maybe it's a threat to your health. But maybe you see the vaccine as a threat to your health too, right? Or the administering of the vaccine by the U.S. military is a threat to your health as well. After the NIH estimated that 75% of the U.S. population would need to receive the vaccine to establish herd immunity, Dr. Fauci insisted that he would like to see the overwhelming majority of people to receive the vaccines so we could essentially really crush this outbreak. Despite 250,000 deaths, despite more than 11 million infections, despite 150,000 new infections a day, they don't believe it's real. Well, it's not about, look, man, it's not about believing whether it's real. It's about believing whether or not this vaccine is the answer. Or, something like a mandatory taking of this vaccine is not going to further endanger people. Many Americans have pointed to the speed at which the vaccine was developed for making them uncomfortable with talking about it. But Dr. Fauci tried to explain that the speed is largely a factor of scientific advances that helped unlock the mRNA approach being used by Pfizer and Moderna. Okay. Technology. Additionally, once the data is ready for review, Pfizer is submitting its vaccine for an EUA, or emergency use authorization, on Friday. What date was this? This was a couple days ago. I think this was this was Friday, the 20th of November. So I don't know if they were talking about this past Friday or this coming Friday. I don't know. At this point, only the naive should believe that Dr. Fauci is sincere in his hopes to convince skeptics to take the vaccine. In the end, the only one thing is going to force people to take the vaccines, and that's the soft pressure of exclusion, or a more heavy-handed approach like mandatory vaccination orders. What's it going to be? What do y'all think? Yeah, again, not saying that it's not real, but a lot of people have serious questions about this vaccine. In fact, I can tell you that almost everybody I know is, even people that said that they would probably take it are skeptical about the safety of it or the speed at which it was developed. But most, and I would say 90% of the people I have talked to about this are like, no way in hell. No, sir. Bill Frank says RNA vaccines are very dangerous. In the past, they killed all the lab animals, some taking many years. Very scary stuff, yes. Yes, FDA also improved fentanyl and opioids, right? Judy Truitt says you will have to have a vaccine card in order to travel. Yes, exactly. Kuro Hikes, this is important. If you are a company designed to make profit, but you're not immune to litigation, or you're immune to litigation, quality control seems like something that would be less of a concern now. Right, so that's a part of the Operation Warp Speed platform, is that the companies who are making these vaccines, who are involved in the operation are immune from legal problems, complexities, if you will. They, basically, you won't be able to sue these companies for damages. So they are free to just pump this out there and give it to you. I have a few friends, especially one who was in the military during the first Gulf War, and they were giving the soldiers like smallpox vaccines. There were a few. I think it was like an anthrax and a smallpox vaccine, because they were thinking that they were going to be attacked by anthrax and smallpox, or I'm not sure if I'm getting that. I think one of them was definitely anthrax. Not completely sure about the smallpox part. But anyways, these vaccines wrecked the soldiers' lives, the soldiers that got these vaccines. I mean, they, because they were not really totally ready, and they were experimental, and they just were like, oh, just, you guys, we're going to need you guys to take these vaccines, okay? Were they looking out for the soldiers, or were they just testing this out on the soldiers because they were captive participants? Right? Oh, and I want to go back and actually look at something very quickly. If you guys don't know this, not a lot of people know this, and I didn't know this. Did you know that the Spanish flu started in the United States? Did you know that the Spanish flu was actually a vaccine experiment gone wrong? It sure was. It was a military vaccine experiment that started in Fort Riley, Kansas, because they had a captive test group, if you will, in U.S. soldiers. And they were experimenting with a meningitis vaccine. So here, this is actually true. I checked this. I just went out, kind of Googled it just to make sure, just to get a little bit of a fact check. But yes, on March 4th, 1918, an outbreak appeared at Fort Riley in the United States. So Spanish flu actually started in the U.S. with as many as 500 soldiers hospitalized within a week. The outbreak of 1918 was named the Spanish influenza, although inaccurate. Historians believe this name came from the lack of media censure in Spain. So they're saying the reason why it was called the Spanish flu is because during World War I, all the governments were participating in heavy censorship and propaganda. Oh, I didn't show you that, but it's real. I tell you, it's real. Hold on one second. Here we go. I'll show you this. This is from kshs.org. Yeah. So during World War I, all the governments that were involved in the war were involved in heavy censorship, media censorship, and propaganda. And Spain was not involved in the war, so they didn't censor the fact that so many people were dying from this flu. So they were like, why are all these people dying in Spain of this flu? Well, it wasn't that the people were dying there. It was that they were the ones actually reporting the reality of the news. Shows you the power of the media. So they called it the Spanish flu, and the people that were administering this vaccine that started the Spanish flu and killed millions and millions of people were like, yeah, that's fine, call it the Spanish flu. Of course it's the Spaniards. Oh, so it's crazy. This pandemic that killed millions of people started from a vaccine experiment gone wrong, and was, covered up by calling it the Spanish flu, Chinese flu, the Wuhan flu, right? Covered up by blaming it on somebody else, or having it come out of somewhere else. Oh, that couldn't happen again. That wouldn't happen again, right? Oh, and what did I hear? Oh, I just had something in my head and it just went away. Dang it. Anyways, it's gone now. Wild stuff, right? Okay, the last thing I wanted to cover in this video, I'm going to jump to something else. Something that is infuriating. It's really why I wanted to do this video. This is from, I just want to cover the story, and maybe you guys have heard of this, maybe you haven't. The reason why Trump is, so there's a story of that Trump fired Mark Esper. Hold on one second. I want to get down here. Who was the head of national security for Trump? Or maybe I have his title wrong. Anyways, he fired Mark Esper, and he fired a bunch of people in the Pentagon, and he was replacing these people. And everybody was like, oh my God, he's going to stage a coup. That's what he's trying to do. Actually, no, what he was trying to do was pull troops out of Afghanistan and Syria before he left office. And everybody is outraged that he would try to take troops out, that he would try to at least do one of the things that he said he was going to do while he was president. But this is a wild story because, as Caitlin Johnson writes, outgoing U.S. envoy to Syria. The title of this article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, is Only Kooks Believe in the Deep State. People who say the word deep state, oh, of course, they're crazy conspiracy theorists. Outgoing U.S. envoy to Syria, James Jeffrey, stated in a recent interview with Defense One that U.S. officials have been playing shell games about the number of troops in the region to deceive the Trump administration into thinking there has been a military withdrawal. Yo, this is, without a doubt, this has got to be some level of mutiny or treason or something. Anyways, he says, we are always playing shell games to not make clear to our leadership how many troops we had there. Jeffrey said in an interview, the actual number of troops in northeast Syria is a lot more than the 200 troops Trump agreed to leave there in 2019. Wow. So basically, these troop commanders have been lying to Trump about how many troops are in Syria. And the funny thing is that everybody would probably be fine with this because Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He's a wild man. He's crazy. But I mean, this is straight up all of these motherfuckers, every single one of them, all of these motherfuckers should be in jail right now. I don't care if Trump is president. I don't care who is president. The fact that you would lie, and the funny, well, not funny, the horrible thing about this is that, if they were, if the troops were like trying to hide that they were sending troops home or keeping troops out of harm's way, because the president was trying to ramp up a regime change war, right? Like, that would actually be okay. You're trying to keep troops out of harm's way. You're trying to go against maybe a warmonger, crazy lunatic, crazy-eyed president who just wants to go to war and kill people and start, World War III and end life on planet Earth. Right? If the defense people in charge were trying to do that, they would probably immediately be brought up on charges. You know this. You know that would happen. They would immediately be court-martialed. Immediate court-martialing. But no, I mean, they're like, we got to stay here. We have to stay. All of the security, all of the national defense people in the Pentagon and the military industrial complex were all like, there's no way, we can't get out of Syria, we can't go out of Afghanistan. And they have the proxies, CNN and MSNBC, their propaganda wings, saying like, oh, we can't possibly do this. This is dangerous. It's and literally there's articles saying exactly those words. This is dangerous. It's dangerous if we leave Afghanistan and Syria. Dangerous for who? For the people that want to sell weapons? For the people that want to continue, a 20-year war? So, the one of the few laudable things that Trump has done is try to get troops out of Syria and try to end the Afghanistan war. And I straight up 100% support that effort. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or anybody else. I support that effort. And I hope that he gets it done before Biden takes office. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but that's why he was replacing all these Pentagon people, defense people, with people who were loyal to him. Because they were going to do this, they were going to get it done regardless of all the other people that were, that have been in place that are like, no, you can't possibly do this. What's Syria withdrawal? There was never a Syria withdrawal, Jeffries. This is James Jeffrey, who is the U.S. envoy. Jeffrey said, when the situation in northeast Syria had been fairly stable after we defeated ISIS, Trump was inclined to pull out. Well, yeah, because we defeated ISIS, which is a U.S. creation anyways. That's like saying we defeated Al-Qaeda, which is so, yeah. We defeated this thing that we created. Ha ha ha. See how that works? Was inclined to pull out. In each case, he then decided to come up with 5 better arguments for why we needed to stay. We then decided, not he. We, the people, the guys that were there, the army, the army people. And we succeeded both times. That's the story. Ha ha ha. We got you, Trump. You're trying to pull troops out. You're trying to end these wars. You crazy lunatic person, you. You crazy imperialist fascist who's trying to end wars and bring troops home? Officially, Trump last year agreed to keep about 200 U.S. troops stationed in northeast Syria to secure oil fields held by the United States Kurdish allies in the fight against ISIS. It is generally accepted that the actual number is now higher than that. So, to sum it up in this tweet, U.S. officials have been lying to Trump and the American people about the true number of U.S. troops in Syria in order to deter him from withdrawing them. Where's the court martial? Where are the immediate court martials for this shit? Why aren't all of these people in fucking jail? Like straight up. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't Trump doing this? Can Trump have these people arrested? Like literally, I would say do it. Go for it. Arrest these motherfuckers immediately and charge them with insubordination, mutiny, whatever it is you want to charge them. Because fuck this shit. That's just wild. Out of control. Out of fucking control. Yes, Jimmy Dore has been covering this for the last month. I know. I've been busy with other things, but I've been trying to cover the story. I've really wanted to cover the story because it's important. So yeah, again, it's just layers and layers of a mess, and nobody knows even which way is up. And then you have, just ridiculous lunatic Democrat / neoliberals, crying about the fact that we can't possibly leave Syria. That would be dangerous. Yeah, but this is what's happening. But quickly before I leave you guys, I think I've gone too long. U.S. announces further drawdown of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq before Biden takes office. And yeah, everybody's all over TV crying, oh, this is bad for Biden. It's going to hurt him. Why? How would this possibly hurt Biden? What would this do to Joe Biden? It's going to hurt his support of the defense contractors? Is that how it's going to hurt him? It's going to hurt his buddies that have been supporting his campaign for president? That's how it's going to hurt him? I don't really understand. What about the troops? Aren't we supposed to bring the troops home? Isn't that supporting the troops? The ultimate supporting the troops is bring the troops home. So if you're arguing that we have to stay there, it's dangerous, you are a wild-eyed lunatic, warmongering piece of shit. That's what you are. Acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller announced Tuesday that the U.S. I guess that was Mark Esper's role, Secretary of Defense. I think I got that wrong. But anyways, this is Acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller announced Tuesday that the U.S. will withdraw thousands more U.S. troops from Afghanistan and Iraq by January 15th. Just days before President-elect Joe Biden takes office. Good. I applaud this. I hope this happens. Confirming plans, first reported by CNN on Monday. Miller said the withdrawal, which will leave approximately 2,500 troops in Afghanistan and roughly the same number in Iraq, does not equate change to U.S. policies or objectives, but provided no details about the plan and refused to answer questions following Tuesday's appearance in the Pentagon briefing room. So they're going to bring it down by 2,000 troops, and it looks like in Iraq only 5,000. So it's like a minimal with drawdown. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien discussed the drawdown from the White House driveway shortly after the Pentagon announcement, but like Miller, he did not take any questions from journalists. So they're leaving troops there to defend embassies and other agencies. They're saying by May, it's President Trump's hope that they will all come home safely and in their entirety. So they were, I guess, whatever. Trump was maybe assuming he was going to still be president, but they were trying to get them all out by May. All. That's good. Still, the Trump administration's decision to withdraw thousands of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq has fueled speculation that the president could move to reduce the number of U.S. forces in other countries as well. To that end, two defense officials told CNN that the administration plans to maintain 900 troops in Syria, but could issue an order to withdraw more than 500 troops from Somalia in the near future. Good. Get out of there now. Stop, there's no reason why we need to be the world's police. We are only creating, more antipathy from the world towards us and towards our military. Let me see. So yeah, they're all, people are all over the media, crying, this is a mistake. Representative Mac Thornberry of Texas slammed the decision as a mistake. Because war, we need war. War is good. We need to police the world. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. President Trump was once again choosing the wrong way. I mean, the wrong way is just getting troops out. There is no right way. You just do it. You just do it. The right way apparently is staying in Afghanistan for 19 years, not knowing why you're even there. Remember that report came out a few months ago, or was it a few months ago? Last year in 2019, that the entire time we've been in Afghanistan, nobody knows why the fuck we're there or what the fuck we're doing. That was the commander. The generals were like, we don't know what the objective is. We don't know who the enemy is. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know why we're here. Apparently that's the right way. Lunatics, fucking warmongering lunatics. So if you're on the side of staying there, if you're like, oh, this is wrong, President Trump, fuck you. You're a fucking lunatic, and you don't know what the fuck. I don't know. You don't know what the fuck is going on. That's all I got to say. That's my very official pronouncement. Fuck you is my very official learned journalistic pronouncement, if that's your stance. Allies and Republicans alarmed at withdrawal plan. Alarmed. Oh my God, what's going to happen? We're supposed to be in this war forever and ever. It's supposed to never end. We're the good guys. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for listening to my rant. Oh, here's one more thing. Here's an endorsement from one of the best people ever. Henry Kissinger says, I like Joe Biden. I like Joe Biden. I got to get a little deeper. I like Joe Biden. Henry Kissinger, who served as Secretary of State for Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, and is internationally known as a war criminal, said last week that though he has often disagreed with Joe Biden on foreign policy, he's convinced he will be moderate and thoughtful. Yeah. Okay. So what does that mean? What do you think he's going to do? It's because Joe Biden is going to continue supporting regime change, war, and the military-industrial complex, and that's why Henry Kissinger is like, it's okay with me. He's fine. Keep them poppies growing, says the dude. Yep. Creative Experiment says, we bomb Syria while we discuss weed laws. Right. Right. Schulte 100, soldiers have died there now who were born after 9/11. Yeah. Like what? Why? There is no point. The point, we have always been at war with Oceania. They have always been our enemy. Anyways, thanks guys so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. I will see you tomorrow at 11. Until next time, peace.